The nerds will inherit the copier world. Yes, they will, folks. We've just had some rain, folks, here in old Sydney town. Yeah, it's been good to get these bushfires under control and to have a bit of a drink in Warragamba Dam. Whatever, it's been good to have some wet weather for a very long time. It's been months since we've had anything like this, or maybe even more than months. But I don't think the drought is over yet, folks. We'll see how it all goes as time goes on. But it's nice to get a drink of water here in Aussie land. Silly. I know I sound a bit like a cheesy Australian, folks. Sorry to be a bit cheesy. Yeah, being cheesy could be considered an Australian type of culture thing. Not everyone's like that, of course. Anyway, enough about that. We're just going to get stuck in and do our demos. Okay, let's see if I can... what we're doing is definitely not Australian. It is some kind of Chinese proverb poster or something. It was all wrapped up. I found it. And it says here, every journey in this world is a path to happiness. And I think this is the year of the mouse, as it says here, but I think it's actually year of the rat. I've heard elsewhere, but I don't know because I'm not Chinese, folks. I was not brought up in a Chinese environment and I don't have any Chinese lineage. I'm just trying to put it on the glass. We're photocopying the rats or the mice, whatever we call them, rats or mice. Let's see if we can make this look any good. Wondering if we're just going to stick it on 100 because we're just interested in photocopying primarily the rats or the mice. So hopefully this will come up a treat first go. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks interesting, but it looks a bit boring. Doesn't look like there's much action in the image, although that could probably make a good, or whatever. We'll try another. I think maybe we should perhaps go back and reduce it as we were. Let's try that again. Let's try and get our little nieces to look really interesting. Okay, let's see how this looks. Looks shit house. Hardly anything on the glass. Shit. These Mises are real Mises to pieces. So we're just going to try and put that on the glass again in an interesting fashion. I'm going to try and make this look more interesting than the shit that we just made. This is not going to be an easy one, folks, as you can see. Okay, out it comes. Yeah, that looks a lot better. We got a lot more in the frame now. That looks a lot more interesting. I'm thinking we're going to use this. These Mises to pieces. Mises. I call them Mises. Mises to pieces. I hate these Mises to pieces. I think that's some kind of off a cartoon. Some cat used to say, I hate these Mises to pieces, or something to do with mice. The way they said Mises. Yeah, Mises to pieces. I forgot the cartoon. I forgot exactly the context of the word Mises being used. Sorry, folks, this is going to end up in the recycle bin. I don't believe in all those sorts of proverbs. Those sorts of proverbs are just not my cup of tea. I wasn't brought up with them anyway. This is not what I was brought up with, this sort of stuff. But we're going to photocopy it like that. I wasn't brought up, of course, I'm Australian. I was born in Guam, which is a US base, and my parents were both born in Australia. And even though I've got Russian ancestry on mum's side of the family, I don't speak any other language except English. So I'm just a monoglot. I just speak one language. I wish I could speak other languages, and Chinese would be an interesting language to actually learn, but it's too complicated for me. I can't learn that shit. But it would be a handy language to have, to be honest. But this looks shit house. The colour just got blind. We can't use this dual colour. It's not going to work for this type of original. So we're just going to switch off our dual colour. Just switch over here. It's not the greatest piece we're working with, but yeah, this is some kind of proverb, you know, the Chinese proverb that about happiness and all that sort of shit. Whatever, it's not my cup of tea. I don't believe this stuff, but you know, I wasn't brought up with it anyway. I should have enlarged it. I forgot to enlarge it. Wondering how we're going to make this look any good. We're going to enlarge it the usual 104 by 104. Wondering if we could do something maybe with the colour balance so I can make this friendlier. And I forgot to switch the colour balance up, but I probably don't need to do all this. I just do this out of habit, folks. I think if we could take out the yellow, primarily the yellow, we might be able to get rid of the colour with the rats. Actually, we're going to try something. We're going to stop this because we're going to not need the 104. We're going to make this the master copy if it works. So we're just going to switch it over like that. But it's interesting how they believe in these proverbs. They're not my cup of tea, but I wasn't brought up with this kind of culture as a child, so yeah. And now we've removed the yellow and we've got an interesting colour scheme here. We've got now shades of magenta and that looks interesting. We can't use the dual colour on this. I don't think it would work. We might be able to pull out some of the cyan and see what happens there. Or maybe we're just going to keep it like this. That's a good question. What are we going to do with this? I'm wondering how we're going to make this look any good. So this is an interesting fuck up we've done with the colour balance. What are we doing? I just did something. Intuition's telling me to do something. So I'm going to take the cyan and drop out the cyan, strip the cyan in other words. And we're going to darken it. I don't know how this is going to look. Wondering. I don't know how this is going to look, folks. We're nearly 10 minutes into this demo and we haven't found any solution to what we're going to do with this piece of work. Yeah, that looks shit house. I think it's better that we have the cyan instead of just that. That looks shit. Wondering what we're going to do with this piece of shit. Honestly, I don't know what we're going to do with it. This one doesn't seem to have any kind of thing we can do to make this look better. Now the hue, we're going to make the hue a little cooler. See what we get. We're going to go back to the original. So let's see how we go with this. This is getting really experimental here, it's always good to be experimental every now and then at least, to do something totally different. And it looks like the hue, manipulating the hue has made this come up much better than this version. That's the first version. Now this is this version. So I'm really happy with that overall result. That looks really quite good. So yeah, let's see if we can use that. We're going to see what we do with this piece. I've just got an idea of what I'm going to do, folks. An interesting idea. Let's see how that looks. So that's our second piece of our Mises to Pieces demo. So we're going to do something interesting with this Chinese work. Oops, I nearly fell over, folks. We're going to go, of course we're going to set this up for the mirror. No, we want A4. This is clumsy. So clumsy, this user interface. So now we're just going to go here. And we're going to switch our colour balance back to the original, the normal settings. And maybe put the hue back in the normal position. And we're going to make these into the original colours. The original gold and red and black arrangement. The original Chinese colours. Let's see how this works. Hands shaking, folks, but that's to be expected during a prolongated demo. So let's see. I think we've made these too dark as shit. I did shit it up. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done one first. So we're just going to quickly make some adjustments because this is a different. So the copy density is dark. We don't want it dark. We want it to be there. And I think we didn't even touch the saturation. That's interesting. We're just going to put some things I just didn't do with this demo that I normally do. So we're just going to lighten it up. And we're just going to start with one copy, which is unusual, but this is what we're doing. This demo goes against my usual workings in many ways. So let's see how we go with this Mises to Pieces piece. Yeah, that looks a bit more Chinese, a bit more gold, but I forgot to switch the mirror image on. So I again made a fuck up. So this is a real fuck up of a demo, folks. But it's happening. It's still happening. It's working well. It's just that oh no, we don't want that. We want the mirror image that we forgot to switch on. It's hands shaking like fuck. Okay, we're 14 minutes and 30 seconds and counting into this demo. So let's see how these Mises look. Yeah, that looks better. So I don't know if this is going to look really in keeping, looking really good with the other two, but it's something different, something very different we've never tried before. So this Chinese proverb demo looks like it's going to be something hopefully entertaining, interesting, different. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. I think now we could call this demo Mises to Pieces. Quick, quits.